Jewish idea of memory did not mean think about something that happened back there. It meant more than that. It meant that the power of that is being made present here and now. That's really not a totally foreign idea to us, because can't we think of something funny that happened 5 years ago and laugh about it again? Or something that made us mad 5 years ago and get mad about it all over again? Isn't the power of that thing being made present again now? It isn't. That's getting closer to when the Jews use the word remembrance or memory or remember. That's how they meant it. And that's how Jesus meant it. When he said, do this in memory of me. That's how he meant it. And that is basically what the Mass does, is it takes that event, and the event being the Last Supper, the death on the cross, and the resurrection, which really all parts of one event, and makes it forever present wherever it is celebrated. The power of that is present again. Does that make sense? That's exactly the way the Jews thought of Passover. And it even says in the original account in Exodus that God telling them how to do it, that this would be a perpetual institution. That's exactly where we get the idea that the Mass is the same. I'm kind of robbing from what we'll talk about in the future a little bit. But it's the same thing. And I guess one other thing. There wasn't always an Easter Sunday, believe it or not. It took 2 or 3 centuries before there was really such a thing as an Easter Sunday. The very first Christians, when they celebrated the Eucharist, the reason that from the very beginning, one of the reasons why celebrating the Eucharist every Sunday was so vitally important is because that was the original Easter. They were celebrating the Lord's death and resurrection, which we're still doing. We still believe that. So that, coupled with borrowing from the Old Covenant and the 10 Commandments and so forth, from the very beginning, Christians understood, no, we're supposed to do that every Sunday. And that's where we get it. That's still the understanding that we do that. We celebrate the Lord's resurrection, Easter, every Sunday, unless for a good reason. I'm sick. I really have to take care of somebody who's sick. I'm scheduled to work and I can't get out of it. It's not because I just want to work. No, I really can't get out of it. Things like that. Otherwise, the expectation is, no, we do this every Sunday. And you'll find people who don't do that. And you'll even find people who don't believe that. But they're not getting that out of the Bible. That's something they're doing. Because it ain't getting scripture. So I just want to throw that out there.
One thing I did leave out, in addition to set up the done, we do a little thing right before the reading of the gospel, where we make the sign of the cross on our forehead. We make the sign of the cross on our lips and the sign of the cross on our heart. And the reason for that is, again, we're calling upon this reading to be in our thoughts or in our minds, on our lips, that we speak what is good, and in our hearts, that we take it into our hearts. So you're welcome to make those signs also, that gospel come to you. Genuflecting? Yeah. Genuflect. It's a sign of respect, and depending on the church setting, usually when I walk into church, the first thing I do is I look to see what Jesus is doing up there. Is he in the monstrance at St. Anne's? You'll see he'll be in the monstrance sometimes, so his real presence is right there, not just in the tabernacle. So we genuflect on 2 knees. If he's not there, we genuflect on 1 knee. When you go to communion, don't genuflect. If we no longer do that, it's become kind of a safety issue amongst other things, but it's just something that we're not really supposed to do any longer. When you leave the church, again, you genuflect it out of respect as well.
The reason why we do that, it's really pretty simple. You know what genuflection is, for starters?
Oh,
It's this. That's called genuflection, okay? Where it comes from is in ancient times, when a person came into the presence of the king. That's what you did. And you didn't just sort of waltz on in there. You won't see the king. No, you had to be invited, first of all. Otherwise, it might have some bad consequences. So once you were admitted into the king's chamber, when you came into his presence, you genuflected, and you're acknowledging his authority and his power. And you're also expressing your submission to his authority and power. Okay? So why do we do it then? Well, because he's really present in the Eucharist. And then some of that is left over. It was originally done to take to sick people who couldn't be there. And so it was housed, and still is, in the tabernacle. So there he is. He's in that tabernacle. And he is our king, right? That's why we do it. We're coming into the presence of the King of Kings. And so we genuflect, recognizing who he is and our surrender, submission, whatever words you want to use, to him as our God. That's why we do it. Pretty simple.
He's who he is. I'll let St. Margaret. You're St. Margaret, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
I guess another little custom. Have you wondered about that little bowl of water in my body? That's all this does? Okay.
Okay.
I'm just gonna want to go before just dip both our hands in water.
Refresh your face a little bit.
That's fine. It's holy water. That little thing is called a font, and the purpose of it is to remind us of our baptism. If you go to old, very ancient churches over in Rome, you will see they call it a baptistry. It's where the font is. If they're really old, it's a whole separate building out in front of the church. But if not, then it's near the front doors of the church. And the reason it was done was because when a person's baptized, that's their entrance into the church, the body of Christ. And so with the building, if you enter through the door, and so they wanted the thing near that is to keep in line with that symbolism. Okay, it's not like that at St. Agnes. It's not like that at St. Anne. But we do have near the doors a remnant of that. A little font with a little bit of holy water. And you can still do it if you're not baptized. But the purpose is it reminds us, I am baptized. And how am I baptized? In the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. That's why we do it. It's supposed to remind us of that. Pretty simple.
And when we say it's holy water, it's basically water that has been blessed by the priest. It's water that could become